Taron, let's talk about the next point, which is the introduction of Timo Werner. And I've got to be honest, I don't know about you guys, but I saw a lot of people who wanted this. I've tweeted about this. We talked about this, Ishan, with Daniel as well in the preview, the whole combination of Lukaku and Werner. And I have to say, Taron, I know the boys have already mentioned a little bit that the finishing wasn't there, the touch wasn't there, and I get that. It wasn't there. But at the end of the day, we can't forget the fact that he got himself an assist, another assist, and a really good assist for Rudiger. But what I really liked about the combination, Taron, was this setup. It looked like a really, really good setup where the width was coming from the wing backs. Werner was more of a free guy that was sort of roaming around anywhere into these sort of areas. Lukaku was still the focal point. And then the midfield trio of Kovacic, Kante, not really the midfield of how sort of Frank Lampard wanted, the attacking it. It wasn't completely like that. They didn't consistently leave Jorginho sort of unprotected. When Kante sort of bombed up, they obviously all pushed up together, but Kovacic and Jorginho stayed together. When Kova went up, Kante and Jorginho sort of stayed together, and it kind of helps out whenever there is a transition and the opposition sort of counters. But I really did like for that 20 minutes, Taron, that little combination of Werner and Lukaku, and I feel like that midfield as well, Jorginho, Kante, and Kova, that could complement that dynamic duo up front. I mean, what do you think about that sort of combination, Taron?
I think you're spot on, Miz. I think absolutely spot on. When, first of all, starting to N'Golo Kante, I think this role, to a less, exaggerated extent, is similar to how he was under Maurizio Sarri, quite high up, kind of free roaming in the final third, winning possession, counter-pressing high up, and we play from there. And I really think the way Sarri kind of developed Kante has helped him a lot in his overall game. In the Conte days, yes, he was decent in the final third, but his end product, his ability to drive, his ability to link play wasn't really there. And Sarri really kind of developed his game in that final third. So I thought he was absolutely class in that second half. But, to talk about the front three, I thought you're absolutely spot on. And I mentioned in the halftime show on the Zenit game, I said, you guys are saying Timo Werner against low blocks doesn't really work. He doesn't have the kind of technical ability to kind of break down them. And I can be disagreed. I said that Timo Werner opens up so much space against the low block. It drags defenders out. Look what he did, against Aston Villa. He dragged Ezri Konsa out of position, and Lukaku had that really free shot at goal. And I just think, the way he can drag defenders out, the way he opens up space, I think Lukaku will absolutely feast off that. And, you can have two creative kind of players you want the ball to feet with Lukaku, but that's three players you want the ball to feet in the final third. Lukaku wants to feet, Mount wants to feet, Havertz, yes, he can run in behind, but he wants to feet as well. I feel like we need someone quite quick in the final third who offers something different. He wants to run in behind. And that's why every time Lukaku got the ball, Werner was always in an attacking position. He had two, I know he didn't finish them, but two clear chances where he could have had a shot at the goal. That's what, switching up the dynamics in attack can do. And you could see there was a clear difference when Werner came on in terms of chance creation, in terms of the space for our different players. And you can definitely see it. I want to see this going forward more.
I feel like Lukaku got a lot more out of it as well. He got into a few more goal-scoring positions. And that link up, I feel like Werner provides him that extra bit that I feel Mount and Havertz so far hasn't really provided.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's not just getting into goal scoring positions. It's getting into positions where you can assist to Werner, you can play it out wide, you can have a short goal. I really like the double striker dimension, and I'll tell you why this is. Lukaku working with Lautaro Martinez at Inter Milan. I feel like it's a very, very similar kind of connection. One kind of nifty, quick play in the final third. One guy who likes the ball to feet and drag defenders out. I think it's a beautiful combination. And N'Golo Kante really helped the cause, because I remember in the Real Madrid game, I know this is probably not a bit out of context, he won the ball high up so many times, and it allowed Havertz to have a chance at goal, allowed Mason Mount to have shots. And I think Kante counter-pressing with the possession behind them of Kova and Jorginho screening him, it can create so many different chances for Lukaku and Werner. And when you have Werner dragging defenders out, you have Lukaku shooting, it is a really good kind of dynamic in that final third. And like I said, I don't want three players who want the ball to feet all the time. It's nice because they want it, but when that option's not there, you need someone who'll commit, who'll drive. I know Lukaku has the pace, but he really prefers with his back to goal. And then I say you could use wing backs to really attack it, but we had Alonso and Aspi. So when Werner came on, it offered so many more different dimensions. I thought it was beautiful. Alonso benefited from it. He had more space in the wing backs.
Yeah,
Aspilicueta for
man.
the switch
Yep.
balls, Lukaku for the shots, Kante. And yeah, I think Tuchel will have seen that in the second half. The absolute difference I think Werner made in terms of chance creation. And hopefully against Aston Villa, I don't think Lukaku will start, but I want to see Werner start for sure. He deserves to start. He was superb today. The finishing will come. I think the finishing will come for Germany. I know it was against Armenia, Liechtenstein, stuff like that. But with Lukaku there, I think everything opens up. He'll feel more confident. He feels like there's a finisher there. He doesn't feel like the goal scoring kind of burden is relied on him anymore like last season. I feel like at times he felt quite pressured in the final third. He rushed the shots, but say Werner misses a chance, 2 minutes later, Lukaku would pick the ball up and probably finish it. So I think that'll really, really do well for Timo Werner's season. And, in an interview with Lukaku recently, I don't know what kind of company it was with, he mentioned that Timo Werner could work really well with him or something like that. So I think it could be a really good combination. And yeah, I'm really liking this dynamic, Miz. I'm honestly with Kante counter-pressing, Werner opening up the space, and then you have the big brute number 9 to finish it. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing this season. And I'm not saying that Mount, Havertz and Lukaku is a bad front three. I think it can work with more chemistry. But in terms of logical kind of things that don't need much work right now, I think Lukaku's worked with Lautaro Martinez. Werner's worked with, Sorlot and other kind of strikers. And Kante has done this with Diego Costa and other players in the past. So I think it is a match made in heaven right now.
No, for sure. I mean, Ishan, we kind of sort of flirted around with that whole Werner situation in the preview. And I wasn't one bit surprised as soon as the game started, the way Tottenham was pressing, they were playing very high up top. And I said, this was tailor-made for Timo Werner. This match was literally tailor-made for Timo Werner. I think Timo's pace would have really terrorized some of the Spurs defenders, and they would have thought twice about pressing high up the way they kind of were. And I like this dynamic in midfield with Jorginho, Kova, and Kante because they're all ball players, proper ball players, man. I've said it. Kante is so underrated. People don't appreciate the way he plays the ball. You've got the two up front who can absolutely, create havoc. Lukaku's lethal weapon up front, and Werner's pace and movement could be twice as dangerous, obviously. But this setup was really good, Ishan. What do you make of this setup, or are you not entirely convinced?
I think so. This showing positivity. We can all see the fact that Werner's missing and still not clinical enough in the final half, and you cannot disagree with that because we easily could have been 5-0, 6-0 maybe. Also Kovacic missed one. Maybe he could have just slotted into the right bottom corner instead of looking for Lukaku. So yeah, I mean the clinicality is must for us. We are still creating chances. Yes, first half was difficult and maybe tactically we were wrong. And second half, everything was correct tactically. And then we started creating more chances. And then comes the factor of clinicality. You have to be clinical. And then it is what it is. You just can't, keep creating space and don't finish. Finishing is really must. But, on the contrary, Werner and Lukaku are showing very much positive signs together. We cannot undermine the fact that these two guys can really create something out of nothing, because we've got two guys who are really fast and quick with their actions and just can, create something out of absolute nothing and maybe just catch the opposition, in empty space out of nowhere. But here, the thing is, I would want to see Werner now more often. Maybe the immediate Carabao Cup match, I want to see Werner start. Maybe the SS that he's got today, he's got more confidence, and then I would want to see him start with Lukaku because I really want to see how this chemistry develops. Now, there are possibility that it might not work. There are high possibility that it would work, but we need to give it a time. We need to give it a chance. We just can't keep bringing on Werner, with 20 minutes, 30 minutes left, and try to, capitalize. Try to, imagine Werner capitalizing things on those 20 to 30 minutes of time. But yeah, I think so. Werner needs a start, and I hope he starts against Aston Villa. But the thing is, you cannot neglect the fact that he needs to finish. He needs to start finishing. Mm-hmm. Lukaku's there is an add-on, definitely 100% sure for Werner. even for vice versa, for Werner, Lukaku is an add-on, and for Lukaku, for even Lukaku, Werner is an add-on, because the way he attracts defenders, it really complements Lukaku, and he said that against Aston, after the Aston Villa game as well. So if they both are complementing each other, but Werner's not finishing, then fingers will be raised on Werner, and I need this guy to finish. He's showing that positivity in the squad very well.
He's getting into really good positions to score.
100%. And again, listen, even if he doesn't score, I've told this million times about Werner, that he knows how to make an impact, and he's come up with another assist today. So the people who are ready to absolutely write him off cannot, because he's just contributed, and he's contributed in one open goal, and a good goal for Chelsea, and that's important for a striker as well. So yeah, again, Werner is doing positive things, but I really want him to start finishing. If this guy starts finishing, maybe even today it could have been easily 5-0 or 6-0. But yeah, I really want to see this chemistry, down in this season. Maybe I want to see Werner Lukaku more often, but it has to be tactical. The off the ball work rate has to be seen as well. Also, we've got the likes of Ziyech, Hudson-Odoi, and Pulisic, who might come up and show some signs that how can they contribute tactically to the team. So it'll be a good combination play. But yes, Werner cannot be written off. He's had a good second half today.
Nah, for sure, man. Johnathan, I mean, are you convinced with this particular combination? I want to hear from you. Obviously, you really like Havertz a lot. And I felt like at times Mount did drop into midfield and Havertz was trying to be that Timo Werner kind of connection with Lukaku up front. But I just feel like it wasn't really clicking. There was one opportunity, I think, in the first half, very early on, where Lukaku sort of fed it into Havertz's path, and then Havertz sort of fluffed that shot. What's your thoughts? Do you want to see the Lukaku Werner a lot more? The fact that he doesn't put the chances away, as Ishan was saying, I mean, does that sort of worry you about this combination?
I would give it a few more substitute appearances when the games are stretched, when the defenders are tired. Let's get a little bit of confidence between the two. Because, yeah, I know Lukaku loves having someone attract space, because he's generally someone that has 1-2 defenders on his back. And anything other than that, he's probably thinking, this is a lot easier for me. A bit annoyed, as I said earlier on, that Lukaku didn't take on a couple of shots. I feel like he was trying to feed Werner, trying to feed Kovacic. Both of them should have scored. Poor touch from Werner on his right. Should have just taken it on his left. Kovacic should have taken it first time. All he had to do was bend it round Lloris. Lukaku could have had 2 assists today, or a goal today. So, yeah, I think we need a couple more substitute appearances. I don't want to see it against Villa. I want to see Werner start. I want to see Lukaku given a complete rest. He's played relentlessly for Chelsea and Belgium over the last month or so. He needs a rest because we've got a massive game against City on Saturday. I want to see it, but as you said, until Werner starts scoring and starts giving me a little bit more in general play, I'm not going to get rid of the 2-10s that work, the pivot that works, because having that third man midfield in the back pocket and the Werner in the back pocket is a massive tool. And I feel like if we go that from the start, what do we change it to? If we have 3 in midfield and then change it to a 2, we lose a bit of control. Whereas if you add it in, it's a lot better. If you take away pace, it's a lot worse than adding it in. So I feel like those 2 things are better coming off the bench. If it then, if it happens in the next few games, the City game, the games after that, we've got Southampton, I think, as well. If it clicks with Werner and Lukaku after 20, 30 minutes after substitute appearance, then maybe in a game like Southampton, in a game like maybe the Norwich game, those games, we've got Brentford coming up, are maybe the ones we want to tweak the system and try something different. But I certainly wouldn't try it against Villa purely because Lukaku needs resting. Wouldn't try it against City because they are our biggest rivals for the Premier League this season. So, yeah, I'm still sceptical. I was really frustrated, as I said, about Werner's finishing and touch on the ball today. But I understand that just like, the off the ball bits that Mount give us that we then give him slack for the other parts. Like today, I'll give him slack for it because the final ball and the touch wasn't there. And I'm tempted to kind of give the same thing to Werner because of what he did off the ball. Yes, he got a great assist. Rudiger pulled out like a centre forward today. And the fact that he looked up and found him instead of just putting it in the box, which is what other players in the squad have done. So yeah, it's encouraging, but until he starts scoring, which is what he's paid to do, and him and Lukaku get goals and assists galore, then yeah, I'm a bit skeptical to use it from the outset because, as I said, I feel like